Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Monday, November 8th, 2021. There's no escaping it. The holiday season will be here before we know it. And what better way to celebrate than with a visit to Six Flags Great Adventure? Michael has the latest information.
Six Flags Great Adventure's Holiday in the Park is returning for a 7th season, this time bigger than ever. The annual holiday event was limited last year to the drive-through experience by COVID-19, but this year will include the feature as well as a return to the main park's festivities, as the entire facility becomes a winter wonderland. Holiday in the Park, which runs from November 13th to January 9th, will include festive lights, holiday food, new rides, and entertainment. Festive Farside will feature the new record-breaking Jersey Devil coaster. New characters, Crispy, Sizzle, and Jersey Devil S'mores. Merry Marketplace will host a Merry Lights show every 15 minutes, with tree lights dancing to a holiday soundtrack. Santa Claus will be there as well, posing for photos with children beneath the 30-foot Stewie the Snowman. The Winter Wizard will greet guests in Deck the Halls, and Master Illusionist Doc Swan will host a magic show there as well. Elf Patrol will be present throughout the park, and the Ice Pops Elf duo will be back breakdancing for guests. And when it gets cold, Sweet Treats will be serving Starbucks by the fire. The drive-through experience, in which guests and pets drive through the park, is back by popular demand after it was such a hit in 2020 that the Great Adventure extended it another additional week. It will feature a new course this year, starting by King Ka and finishing near Superman: The Ultimate Flight. There will also be a walkthrough component this year as well. Holiday in the Park and our drive-through experience deliver world-class entertainment for all ages and unparalleled thrills that only Six Flags Great Adventure can provide. Six Flags Great Adventure President John Winkler said, "Both events provide a way for families to enjoy the spirit of the holidays while making long-lasting memories together. Holiday in the Park will operate from November 13th to January 9th.
If you are a fan of video gaming, our next report is right up your alley. So let's check in with Cooper for the details.
Dartmouth College professor Mary Flanagan created the giant controller nearly 14 times the size of an original classic Atari 2600 controller. In 2006, to celebrate her childhood experience of playing Atari 2600 video games, she also wanted to see what would it be like when a single-player experience becomes collaborative. It takes at least 2 people to operate the joystick and push the button to play classic Atari games such as Centipede and Breakout. The joystick, which toured Spain, the United Kingdom, and the United States, is now part of the permanent collection of ZKM Art Center of Art and Media in Klarscher, Germany.
Stay tuned, we will be right back. our final segment, we have a special video presentation, courtesy of Mrs. Sosa and her family, Mrs. Hernandez, and Mrs. O'Connell. Here's the video.
Sadly, one of our bunnies has crossed the Rainbow Bridge, so now we are bringing a new friend for our bunny, so he's not alone. The garden club takes care of this outside property, makes it nice for the bunnies. And right now we're trying to make sure our friend is either a boy or a girl, so we can match him up with this.
My friends are ready.
It's a girl.
Yay.
Did she go down below? Oh no, there she is.
Go on. You can do it.
They're both dark. You're dark. We can't tell them.
That's it for us today. Thanks for watching RPtv. Have a great day and stay tuned for CNN 10.
Yay, nice job, everybody.
priority for the president, so its passage is considered a legislative victory for him. But it took months and several setbacks before the bill was passed, even though it had bipartisan support in Congress. The final House vote was 228 to 206. A majority of Democrats and a minority of Republicans voted for it, though a handful of Democrats joined most Republicans in voting against it. There is a lot in this bill. Here is where some of the spending is going, with the largest allocation of money in this graphic intended for upgrades to roads and bridges. But if you add up all the funding for everything you see here, it amounts to $540 billion, less than half the total cost of the $1.2 trillion law. So there are a lot of smaller spending categories that factor in. Some lawmakers were concerned this spending would add to the federal deficit, the amount the government spends that exceeds the revenue it takes in. President Biden and the bill's supporters have said it wouldn't have a negative impact, but the Congressional Budget Office, which aims to give nonpartisan estimates on government spending and budgets, says the bill will add $256 billion to the deficit over the next 10 years. Concerns about of 531,000 new jobs, that exceeded economists' expectations. Analysts say America's decreasing COVID cases likely factored in here, so might have holiday hiring, and a government stimulus program that gave financial aid to people who weren't working also expired recently. Critics of that program say that prompted some people to go back to work. More possible reasons for the rebound.
There's been a lot of different options.
At a job fair in Charlotte this week, Dustin Jones was looking for a position requiring a commercial driver's license or in an office. Jones said he wanted a job that could hold if there's another shutdown due to COVID, and he was optimistic.
This is the best time to go for job hunting. People are very desperate to hire. So as far as qualifying, there's a lot of paid training on the job.
The U.S. Labor Department wholeheartedly agrees with Dustin Jones. It says the U.S. economy added a whopping 531,000 new jobs last month, about 80,000 more than economists had predicted.
What this says to me is that the Delta variant is ebbing, more people have been vaccinated, and there is a lot of pent-up demand in the system post-COVID. People want to spend, and people are getting back to work.
22 million jobs were lost when the pandemic hit in March of last year, but since then, 18 million have been gained, a rebound of about 80%. The leisure and hospitality sector of the U.S. economy, which was hit hardest during the pandemic recession, is still about 1.5 million jobs short of its pre-pandemic level. But analysts say the latest job numbers indicate a healthy rebound for that sector.
Leisure and hospitality, that's where obviously we saw some really big gains. But, construction, manufacturing, professional services, healthcare, all added very significantly, so all very encouraging. Really, the only part of the economy that didn't add to jobs was government,
And analysts say certain demographics of people who re-entered the workforce recently are fueling this surge.
Women were hurt especially badly early on in the pandemic, as you can imagine, because of the childcare crunch. And I think we're finally seeing women catch up.
But overall, the American economy is not free and clear of the pandemic.
You have supply chain problems that are leading to inflation and shortages. You have consumers worried about the price of gas, worried about the price of groceries.
And at least one analyst is warning of what he calls a potential hard landing in the housing market. Mark Zandi of Moody's Analytics points out there's a shortage of affordable houses in America. House prices have skyrocketed in recent months. If interest rates go up to combat inflation, higher mortgage rates could really hurt demand for houses. It may not derail the economy, Zandi says, but homeowners could see some real declines in their house prices. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
It's that time of year when you hear a whole lot about getting that extra hour of sleep as the U.S. falls back from daylight saving time to standard time. That happened on Sunday. It means it'll be dark outside an hour earlier, but it also means there'll be more light outside when we get up in the morning. Calls to stop observing daylight saving time seem to be louder in the spring when Americans have to move their clocks forward 1 hour and lose that hour of sleep. But one thing that's kept us springing ahead and falling back every year is the fact that there's been no agreement yet which time to choose year-round, standard time or daylight saving time. How did all this start anyway?
So why don't we change the clocks ahead 1 hour in the spring and back 1 hour in the fall? Well, it's actually to reduce the electricity consumption by extending the daylight hours. In the U.S., we change our clocks at 2 a.m. on the second Sunday in March. That begins daylight saving time. That's when we spring ahead. On the first Sunday in November, we change our clocks at 2 a.m. again. That's actually just going back to standard time. Believe it or not, this started with an idea from Benjamin Franklin. Franklin did write an essay suggesting that people could use less candles if they got up early and made better use of daylight. In 1918, the Standard Time Act established time zones and daylight saving time, but not all states participate. To this day, most of Arizona and all of Hawaii do not change their clocks. Over 70 countries across the world observe daylight saving time, with notable exceptions of China and Japan. In 2007, we actually changed the date of when we set our clocks back an hour to the first week in November. This helped protect trick-or-treaters by giving them an extra hour of daylight. One of the other lines of thinking was that we would have a better voter turnout on election years. Experts say each time you change your clocks, it's always a good idea to change those batteries in your smoke detector, and always look forward to fall when you get that extra hour of sleep.
For 10 out of 10, an art exhibition that just wrapped up in Egypt is really one of a kind. It's unique because of its background. I mean, you won't find this anywhere else. The exhibition was called Forever is Now, and it featured large-scale sculptures and installations by 10 contemporary artists. Some of their works appear to incorporate their ancient background more than others. The whole goal was to blend the past and the present. Oh, some might not think it's worth the Monet to Van Gogh to a show like that. They might not Da Vinci the purpose or Rivera the modern methods if they believe in O'Keefing or leaving the pyramids cat alone. But for those who go Chagall into thinking the past and present rock well together, well, they'll see that just like with the pyramids themselves, there's a point. Before we leave, we would like to point to our viewers in Bucharest, the capital of Romania. Shout out to the students of Bucharest Christian Academy. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.